Hello students of 11th Commerce, I am Prabha. In this video, part 1 of History of Commerce in India, I am going to explain about position of commerce then and now, indigenous banking system, rise of intermediaries and transport. So, let me explain one by one. The first topic is commerce then and now. Students, in India, the origin of commerce can be traced to prehistoric times. In historic times, the introduction of currency as a standardized money facilitate a wider exchange of goods and services. Nowadays, commerce is a subset of a complex system of companies which try to maximize their profit by offering products and services to the market. The history of commerce is the history of civilization. All the consumable things are not produced by the country itself due to various hindrances. A portion of the needs is exchanged with other countries. This is the beginning of commerce. Commerce may be domestic or foreign. During ancient times, Indians were the masters of the seaborne trade of Europe, Asia, and Africa. In the beginning of the 17th century, the arrival of Dutch and English traders also helped in the growth of India's trade and commerce, as their arrival broke the monopoly of Portuguese over sea trade and established a direct link between India and the European market. At present, the government has implemented certain new initiatives in the foreign trade policy for the overall development of trade and commerce in the country. India is also a signatory to the World Trade Organization and is committed to free and fair trade. The next topic is indigenous banking system. So first I am going to explain who are indigenous bankers. Indigenous bankers are those private firms or individuals who operate as banks and as such both receive deposit and give loans. Like banks, indigenous bankers are also financial intermediaries, but they are different from professional money lender whose primary business is not banking but money lending. And this system of banking is called indigenous banking system. When commercial banking had not developed, indigenous bankers were the main source of finance for agriculturists, traders, businessmen, small industrialists, and played a significant role in the economic life of India. Since 1950s, with the growth of commercial banking geographically, the area of operation of these agencies has decreased to a great extent. The Banking Commission 1972 has grouped indigenous bankers under four main subgroups. First is Gujarati Saraf, second is Shikarpuri or Multani Saraf, third is Kshetris of the South, and last is Marwari caste of Assam. The next topic is function of indigenous bankers. The function of indigenous bankers were as to provide finance and remittance facilities to traders and small industrialists by providing loan, writing, buying and selling hundis, writing finance bill and trade bills. The government took major steps in Indian banking sector reform after independence. Indigenous bankers do not have any major role in modern banking, which requires advanced level computerization, large capital, greater control and regulation from the Reserve Bank of India. The next topic is rise of intermediaries. First of all, I am going to explain who are intermediaries. An intermediary is a firm or a person who acts as a link between parties while carrying out a business transactions. There are mainly two types of intermediaries. First, market intermediaries and second is financial intermediaries. In case of market intermediaries, they can be agents, wholesalers, distributors, retailers, etc. And in case of financial intermediaries, they can be commercial bank, financial advisors, brokers, insurance companies, etc. Recent trends in the evolution of financial and market intermediaries, particularly in the developing world, have shown that these institutions play a pivotal role in building a strong economy. Students, earlier money lenders and traders exploited small farmers and landless laborers by lending to them at high interest rates and by manipulating the accounts to keep them in a debt trap. Later, the National Bank for Agriculture and Rural Development, which is known as NABARD, NABARD, was set up in 1982 to coordinate the activities of the rural financing system. The aim behind designing this intermediary system was to dispense adequate credit at cheaper rates. Now, intermediaries like banks are evolving to cater to all the needs of investors and borrowers. The world of business is changing nowadays. The next topic is transport. As we know that transport in India consists of transport by land, water and air. India's transport network is one of the most extensive in the world. Railway in India provide the principal mode of transportation for freight and passenger. Road transport is vital to India's economy. It is a cost-effective mode of transport. Road transportation has gradually increased over the years with an improvement in connectivity between cities, towns and villages. Between 1947 and 1988, roads were poorly maintained. In 1998, India started National Highway Development Project, which is known as NHDP. Water transport is one of the oldest means of transport in India. It is the cheapest means of transport because cost of construction and maintenance of waterways is very small. Air transport is the fastest mode of transport. It plays a vital role in times of emergency as well as in the event of natural and man-made calamities like flood, famines, epidemics and wars. Remaining topic of this chapter will continue in next videos. If you have any confusion, you can ask in the comment section of this channel. Please like, share and subscribe for latest updates. Thank you, students.